Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. TV en balom gandawa me ha befuna warves ufar waqt qala kadam और हम relevant befuna hama me waqt Kurumba Maldives me badal kolli 50 years of tourism awards by mati me award haflat befuna hama waqt ngenestan mataka me rajye ge faturelkam ge sinata fansa sahar furum ge goto muli ahara bahala gen kuriya kendwe tafat harakat ho ge tereng kuriya gendu Muhammad Jifa warves hasa award hafla kom fa kollan je එවතුම් මේ හෆ්ලා ඉන්තිසාම් කොෆ මේ වනී මටිගේ ෆරාතුන් අදි මේ එවෝඩ් හෆ්ලාග බෑර වඩාගෙන් එවෝඩ් හෆ්ලා ශරෆර කොතවානේ රයිස් ජම්හූරියා ඉබ්‍රාහිම් මොහම්මද් සෝලිහ් අහමද් ෆාන් ගාම්බ කබලුම් ෆස්නා අහමද් කුඩ වගුත් කොලගේ තෙරේග රයිස් ජම්හූරියාගේ දෙ කම්බලුම් මේ හෝලා වඩාගෙන් නෝ මායකෝ මේ රස්මිය කො ෆිෂ්කෙන් දාන මේ රස්මියාත් කුරිය ගෙන්දිය මහම්මද් සිෆා ගොත බලාලායරෝ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಫತುರಕಮ್ಗೆ ದಾರಾಗ ಏಕಿ ಗೊಯ್ಕೊತೊಂಗೆ ಹಿತರಕಂ ಫೋರ್ ಕೊದ್ದಿ ಅದು ಮಿಸ್ಸಿನ ಕುರೇರೋಮ್ಗ ಏಕಿ ಗೊಯ್ಕೊತೊಂಗೆ ಏಕಿ ಫೇಮ್ವರ್ಗ ಏಕಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗ ಮಾಸಕ್ಕೆ ಕುರೆ ವಿಫರಾತ್ತೋಗ ಆಗುವಸಂಕೋ ಖಾಸ ಎವೋರ್ಡ್ ತಕ್ಕೆ ದಿನ ಮಮ್ಮಿ ಬನಿ ಹಮ ಜೇಫಾ එකතුන් ජුම්ලා ෆාන්සාස් එවෝඩ් මියදුගේ මේ හෆ්ලාගේ තෙරෙන් දෙවිගෙන් දානකම් ෆාහක කොල්ලන් චේ මේ වෝඩ් තෝගේ තෙරෙන් එම ખાસ එවෝඩ් එකේ ගොත් කරමන මේ ෆාහක කරවෙනි ෆතුරකම්ගේ සිනාතුගා මේ සිනා කුරේරුම මසකෙතක කුර විබේෆලුන්ගේ තෙරෙන් ෆතුරකම්ගේ බාණින්ගේ ගොත් කරාජ්‍යගේ ෆතුරකම් කුරේරුමුගා එම මොහිමු දවරෙන් අදා කර වේස් බේෆලුන්ගේ ගොත් ෆාහක කරවේ හතර බේෆලක මේ දෙවේ එවෝඩ් මේ හතර බේෆලුන වෙස එවෝඩ් දෙවානි රයිස් ජම්හූරියා ඉබ්‍රාහිම් මොහම්මද් සෝලිහ් आदि मेदुगे मे हफ्लागे तेरे रईस जमहूरिया इब्राहिम मोहम्मद सोलिह वाक़ देके मवेस्मियानी हम चीफा माटिंग इंतजाम को के कुरिया केंदा मे अवार्ड हफ्लागे में मुहिम बेणमा की मे राज्य के फतुरकम के सिनात फंसा सहार फुरिगन दिएरो मे सिनातु गे एकी गोयकोतुंगे हितरकम फोर को दी हिदमत गे एकी गोयकोतुं मसे के कुरे बेफलुंगे अगुवसन को ए बेफलुंगे हिदमत का अगुवसन कुरमगे गोतुं हासे अवार्ड दिनो එවතුන් හම මේ ඇවෝඩ් හෆ්ලාගේ ඇවෝඩ් දෙවිගෙන් දාන එක ෆරාත්තක බලාලාරු රාජ්‍යගේ ෆතුරකම්ගේ සිනාතුගේ එක ගොයකොතුම් මාසෙක කුරවාෆවා වකිවකි ෆර්දුන්නා ආදී හම හැම රිසෝට් හිංගා ෆරාත්තක රිසෝට් ඔපරේටරුන්නා ටෝ ඔපරේටරුන්ගේ ගොතු ගනවත ටෝ ඒජන්සි තහුගේ ගොතුග රාජ්‍ය ෆතුරවරින් ගෙනවමගේ මේ හරකාත්‍රවා එක ෆරාත්තක අද හැම ෆතුරකම්ගේ ව්‍යාපාරික එක ගොයකොතුම් හරකාත්‍රවා ෆරාත්ත මේ ඇවෝඩ් හෆ්ලාගේ තෙරෙන් හම ඇවෝඩ් දෙවිගෙන් දානකම් ෆාහක කොලන්ජේ माटें हम कुरवाफ वागुतुं मेदुगे मे अवार्ड हफ्लाग अवार्ड देवे फरात कंडाला मे वणी हम एकम खास कुरे फो आके कमिटी तेरें हम मे एवलेट कुरम फो बलंजे कंकम बेलम फो कं हम माटें बफाह कुरे आदि माटें कुरे मेगेंदा अवार्ड हफ्लाग इतुरे वसम मे हारुगे मे फतुरे कम राज्य के फतुरकम फंसा सहर फुरेरान यूबिल फाह कुरमुकुतुं तफात हरकत के कुरे गेंदु महम जीफ वाका माटी में बने हम कुरवाफ एवत मेहारो सम में हफ्लागे इतुरंग हम फाह कोलंचे में दायरंग इंसानी वसील तरक्की को फतुरकम के दायरंग एक दिमालम कुरिया दाम पेण व जुवान मतितावलिम हासिल कुरमुगे फुर्सत तनवस को दिन मुगे कुतुं हासिल स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम तारफ को फवाकम फाह कोलवे මේගේ ඉතුර මේ වෝඩ් ෆ්ලාගේ ඉතුරුන් දැන් මාටි මියහර කුරිය මිරේ ෆෝරි තෆාත් හරකතක බලාලාර මාටිගේ ආහාරි දුවහා දිමාකෝ हास दे फोते फतुरकम के सिनातं हास कुरेविगे नेरुमा मेवनी हम चेफा මේක තරෙන් F4 කීමේ ෆතුරකම් ගේ දායරන් ආකිටෙක්චරල් දායරන් ෆහකුලවේ එකේ මසකෙත්තක අපි කුරේ ෆෝර මසකෙත්ත රම්ස කොත්තේ ෆොතේ අද දෙවන ෆොත කීමේ රාජ්‍යක ෆතුරකම් ෆෙෂිගෙන් ආරෝ එක සමාන්තව ගා මේ සිනා ෆුලාවේ කුරියර මුන්දේ ගොය දක්වා දෙකන් කමාකුල මල්මාතන් හිමෙනි ෆොතේ මේ දෙෆොතේ කිය සම රාජ්‍යක फतुरकम के सिनात फंसा सहार फुरेरान यूपिला दिमाको माटिंग निर्मल नत लॉन्च कोरमा हम चीफ वादे फ मेदुगे एमे हफ्ला हम कुड़ वक्त कोले के तेरेगन कोनस फा कोले तरे सो जमहूरिया के ते कमलों कुरबा मोल्डिव्स का मे हफ्ला बे हम चीफ वार सरहद वडागे न मा को न तो होला वडागे न मा को रस्मी को मे हफ्ला फिश गेंदान मे हफ्ला के तेरेंग رئيس الجمهورية راجيಗ ಫತ್ರುರಕಮಗ ಬಾಣಿಂಗ ಗೊತುಗ ಮಿ ಫಾಹ ಕುರವೆ ಹತರು ಬೇಫುಳಕಂ ಖಾಸ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ದೇವಮ ಮಿ ವಣಿ ಹಮ ಜಿಫಾದಿ ಹಮ ಹೆಮೆ ಮಿ ಹತರು ಬೇಫುಳಂ ಹಿಮೆನೆ ಜುಮ್ಲಾ ಫಾನ್ಸಾಸ್ ಬೇಫುಳಕ ಮಿ ಹಫ್ಲಾಗೆ ತೆರೆಂಗ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ದಿನಮ ಮಿ ವಣಿ ಹಮ ಜಿಫಾ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಫತ್ರುರಕಮಗ ತಾರೀಖ ಬಲಾಲಾರು ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ಫತ್ರುರಕಂ ಎಮೆ ಫುರತಮ ಫೆಶುಗೆ ಮಿ ನವಾರಸ್ತೆಕ ಹೈತ್ತಿಹ ಹದ್ದಿಹಾಗೆ ಹರ್ತೋಗ ತೆರೆಗೊತ್ತು ನವಾರಸ್ತೆಕ ಹದ್ದಿ ಏಕೆಗ ಇಟಲಿಗೆ ಮಿ ಫತ್ರುವರೆಂಗ್ ಗುವಾಗನ್ ದತ್ರು ಕುರಾ ಫರಾತೆಕಮ್ ಗುವಾ ಜೋರ್ಜ್ ಕೋಬಿನ್ ಇಟಲಿಗೆ ಫತ್ರುವರೆಂಗ ಟೀಮ ಕಾಯಕು ನವಾರಸ್ತೆಕ ಹದ್ದಿ ಏಕೆಗ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಮಿ ಕೊರಿ ದತ್ರು ಐ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ತಾರೀಹುಗೆ ಎಮೆ ಫುರತಮ ಫತ್ರುವರೆಂಗ ಗೊತುಗ ಬಯಕು ತಾರೀಹುಗೆ ಗೊತುಗ ನೊತ ಆಹಾರುಗೆ ಗೊತುಗ ಮನ ಫಾಹ ಕುರೆ ಫಮಿಯೋತಿ ಎ ಫಹು ಹಮ ನವಾರಸ್ತೆಕ ಹದ್ದಿ ದೇವಣ ಆಹಾರು ಏಕಿ ಫರಾತ ಗುಳಿಗೆ ಫತ್ರುವರೆಕ ತಾರಫ್ ಕುರೆ ಫಾರ್ ಮೇದು ಮಿ ಸಿನಾತಕ್ಕೆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಎಕ್ತಿಸೋದುಗೆ ಎಮೆ ಮುಹಿಮು ದಾಯರಾಕಂ ಫಾಹ ಕುಲುವೆ
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to you all. Welcome to the 50 Years of Tourism Awards by MATI. My name is Maisha and I will be your MC for this afternoon. The 50 Years of Tourism Awards by MATI is an event whereby we are honoring the exceptional contributions of individuals and organizations to the tourism industry of Maldives. This year being the Golden Jubilee of Tourism, MATI decided to confer these awards to commemorate this auspicious occasion. Furthermore, we decided to confer 50 awards in line with the theme of 50 Years of Tourism in Maldives, with special honorary awards as well. Though we've only selected 50 of whom we believe to be the most deserving of winners, we wish to mention the fact that our industry could not have achieved so much without the valuable contribution of many individuals and businesses that have been a part of the tourism industry of Maldives for the past 50 years. And we greatly thank you and honor them for their contribution as well. As such, I am pleased to inform you that MATI will also be honoring 265 long-serving employees of these past 50 years to coincide with the Maldives Tourism Day on 3rd of October 2022. Undoubtedly, these individuals and organizations have played a pivotal role in bringing our industry to its current standing. MATI, being one of the oldest and most prominent tourism-related associations in Maldives, believes that their stories should be told to inspire the Maldives and people of tomorrow. They are truly a beacon of hope for the coming generations. To tell this story further, MATI has also commissioned and will be launching 2 books titled 50 Years of Tourism in Maldives, The Pioneers, People and Policies That Shaped the Industry by Dr. Simad Saeed, and Maldivian Resort Architecture, 50 Years of Island Resorts by Mr. Mauruf Jamil later this year. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite the chairman of MATI, Mr. Mohammad Umar Manik, to give the welcome address. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mohammad Umar Manik.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency President Ibrahim Muhammad Salih, First Lady Fazda Ahmad, Honorable Ministers and respected dignitaries, pioneers of the tourism industry of Maldives, Mr. Soren Hartmann, CEO of the Touristic Group, winners of the 50 Years of Tourism Award by MATI, members of MATI and members of the media. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to you all. It is a great honor for me to welcome you all to the 50 Years of Tourism Award by MATI. The 50 Years of Tourism Award by MATI is an initiative that seeks to celebrate and honor the hard work, ingenuity and resilience of the people and organizations that have exceptionally contributed to the tourism industry of Maldives. The tourism industry of Maldives has grown to become the bedrock of our nation and economy. It is an industry that has touched the lives and livelihood of each and every Maldivian. We are truly forever indebted to the people and organizations that have helped bring this industry to its current standing. As we are celebrating the Golden Jubilee of Tourism in Maldives this year, MATI, as the oldest and one of the most prominent tourism-related associations of Maldives, felt that they should be honored at such an auspicious juncture. This is the reason why we decided to confer these awards. We formed an award committee consisting of key industry veterans and professionals that thoroughly vetted the list of nominations that we received. They then finalized the list of awards winners. I take this opportunity to greatly thank them for the meticulous work that they have done for this project. I also would like to salute and offer my immense gratitude to the role played by all the phenomenal staff of the tourism industry. Furthermore, I wish to highlight the fundamental role played by financial institutions, tour operators, travel agencies, and the aviation sector in supporting and developing this industry. Moreover, the goodwill of the government and the immense support all respective governments have given to this industry have played a critical role in our successes. The story of tourism industry of Maldives is truly one for the history books. It is an inspiring story of how a seafaring nation with a population of just a little over 300,000 in just 50 years has managed to become a world leader in tourism. A world leader that has also been the torchbearer of tourism during the COVID-19 pandemic. With no banks, no airports, no telephones, and warning from the United Nations that Maldives did not yet have the required infrastructure to support tourism, with the spirit of our ancestors that mastered these oceans and sailed into the unknown, we have achieved the impossible. I wish to thank all the award winners, many of whom have traveled from all across the world to attend this event. Your presence here today is a testament to the love and importance that you have given to our nation and industry. Last but not least, a special word of gratitude goes to His Excellency President Ibrahim Mohammed Solih, First Lady Fazna Ahmad, the ministers and dignitaries for gracing this event with your presence. Thank you. Let us continue in the same spirit to make the next 50-year tourism even more successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammad Umar Manik. Now I would like to invite on stage His Excellency President Ibrahim Mohammed Solih to present the Pioneer Awards, the Recognition Awards for former presidents, and to deliver his remarks. Secretary General of MATI, Mr. Ahmad Nazir, will accompany His Excellency. The Pioneer Awards are presented in recognition of the individuals who played a pioneering role in the introduction of tourism to Maldives. Mr. Mohammad Umar Manik. With no banks, no airport, no telephones, and severely limited resources, Mr. Manik's decision to open the first resort in the Maldives, Kurumba village, in 1972 was a decision that revolutionized Maldives. The turning point for tourism in the Maldives was also devised by Mr. Manik when Kurumba village was redeveloped into a world-class hotel in 1987, moving Maldives from a low-end destination to a high-class luxury holiday spot. Mr. Mohammad Umar Manik. Mr. Hussein Afif. Mr. Hussein Afif is an entrepreneur responsible for both the instigation and expansion of several key industries in the Maldives. This includes various resorts around different atolls in the Maldives managed by a leading Maldives tourism group, Crown and Champa Resorts, of which he is a co-partner and director. His shareholding companies are also involved in many other development projects in the Maldives, such as Treetop Holdings. While he started at the tender age of 21, he has been working every single day of these past 50 years in the tourism industry in Maldives. Mr. Hussein Afif. Honorable Ahmad Naseem. The tourism industry in the Maldives started with a chance meeting in Colombo between Mr. George Corbin and Honorable Ahmad Naseem. Mr. Corbin, owner of an Italian tour agency, made inquiries about visiting the Maldives at the Maldives Embassy in Colombo. Maldives Ambassador to Sri Lanka, the late His Excellency Hussein Ali Didi met Mr. Corbyn and introduced Keref Ahmed Nassim. Mr. Ahmed Nassim is also a veteran senior public servant, having joined the government in late 1966. Mr. George Corbyn. Mr. George Corbyn is one of the pioneers of the tourism industry of Maldives. He was responsible for bringing the first group of tourists on the 16th of February 1972. Having earlier made a familiarization trip to Maldives in 1971, Mr. George Corbyn, who was working as an Italian travel agent at the time, took a chance upon a true underdog among the giants of tourism in this region. His ardent efforts to promote the Maldives as a destination helped set the very foundations of tourism in the then-known little stretch of islands in the Indian Ocean. Moving on to the recognition of former presidents. These awards are presented in recognition of former presidents who are instrumental and have played a pivotal role in the development of tourism in Maldives during their tenure. Former President of the Maldives, His Excellency Maumoon Abdul Gayoom. Unfortunately, he is unable to attend. During his years in office, he implemented policies and created a regulatory framework enabling tourism to spread from 2 to 12 atolls, making Maldives the #1 tropical destination. Late former President of the Maldives, His Excellency Ibrahim Nasir. Mr. Ahmad Ibrahim Nasir, the grandson of the late former President of the Maldives, His Excellency Ibrahim Nasir, will receive the award on his family's behalf. It is said that tourism in Maldives could not have started without the late former President of the Maldives, His Excellency Ibrahim Nasir. He is widely credited with modernizing the long isolated and nearly unknown Maldives and opening them up to the rest of the world. He laid the foundations of the nation by modernizing the fisheries industry with mechanized vessels and starting the tourism industry. Now I would like to invite His Excellency President Ibrahim Mohammed Saleh to deliver his remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hazrata hamda shukur kram. Min matrimai Nabiya Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya salata assalam de ngadi dua kram. Misalata assalam ga iturekle faange al ashabun shamil kram. Maldives Association of Tourism Industry Mati ge chairman Nishan Muli ge Sharaf ge Izzat ge Veriya Al-Fal Muhammad Umar Manik Mati ge Executive Board ge member Minister of Tourism Dr. Abdul Mausum Daulat ge Wazir Fatur kam ge Senat ga harkatirwa Befulum Hazir wa dainti be emiha Befulum Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. राज्य फतुरेर कम फंसा सहर फुरुम अरुम मिदनी मिहार फाहा करम एगे तेरे Maldives Association of Tourism Industry मटी के फरातंग इंतजाम को गे मी बावा हफ्ला की अरुगा बूल करागो तुगा मिगुतुम बेवे एम्मे उफावेर एम्मे मुहिम्मो हफ्ला मटी के मी हफ्ला मी बावनी राज्य फतुरेरिकं तारफे के दिया फुरत मरकमवा विहमनाफुशी आदे मिहार के कुरुम्बा माल्दीव्स का कम वी कमी मी हफ्ला इतरो फिर हम कम गेरस्ते कम तिये बेफुल नकी राज्य फतुरेरिकं तारफ कुरे बेफुल मुड़ी दुनियेगा फाह कुरवे तनक मी दियो राज्य बदल कोल्ली ये बेफुल आदिस मी दो से गोतगा मी इंडस्ट्री दमहट्ट मुंतिय गेंदवनी हमतिय बेफुल इस ओबट्टका मी हफ्ला इंतजाम कुरवी मटियशा मी इंडस्ट्री पुरिहा बेफुल बरों फलायक शुक्र अरुण दंडो खासको मीगे फंसा सहर कुरिंग राज्य फतुरिकन तारफ करवुमगा एम्मे इसको උළුවි බේෆළු මිතා එබතිබ්බෙක් ඒ හතරු බේෆළුම් කමවා මොහම්මද් උමර් මනිකා මිහාරුගේ හෙල්ත් මිනිස්ටර් අහමද් නශීමා චම්පා ಹುಸೇನ್ ಅಫೀಫಶಾ අදී ඉටලි විලාතුගේ මිස්ටර් ජෝර්ජ් කෝබින් හිෆෙහෙට්ටු මෙන්නේ ශුකුරු අරුන් දන්නවා දුනියේගේ ෆතුරිකමුගේ බාසාරුගා දිහ රාජ්‍ය මිය දමහට්ටමුන් ගන්න මගාම් මිකොතගා මියොති ರಾಜ್ಯ ಫತುರಕನ್ ತಾರಫ್ ಕುರವಿ ಬೇಫುಳುಂಗೆ ವರುಗ ದಾಜುಮಾ ಕುರವಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಸಕತ್ ಅಮಾಜೆಂಗ್ ಒವೆ ಕುರಸ್ತ ಗಿರಾಕುರವಂ ಪೆವಡಾನೆ ಮತೆರಿ ಗುರ್ಬಾನಿಗೆ ಸಬಬು ಅದಿ ಮಿಯದು ಮಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗ ತಿಬ್ಬೆ ಬೇಫುಳು ಕುರುವಂ ಗೆಂದವ ಮಿನ್ನೆ ಮಸಕತ್ಗೆ ಸಬಬು ತಿಯ ಬೇಫುಳುನಕಿ ಮೀ ಮುಹಿಮು ಸಿನಾಯ್ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಕುರಿಮಗೆ ಜೀಲ್ತಕ್ಕ ಫೋರ್ಕೊದ್ದಿನುಮಗ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ರಂಗಳು ವಿಷ್ಣುಮ ಖಿಯಾಲ್ ನೆರೆದವೇಣೆ ಮಿಕಮ್ಗೆ ತಜುರ್ಬಾಕಾರ ಮಾಹಿರು ತಿಯ ಬೇಫುಳ್ನವರ ಬೊಡ ಮೀ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಎಂಗ ಬೊಡ ಎನ್ನವ ಅದಿ ಕುರಿಯ ದಾಂವಿ ಮಿಶ್ರಾ ಬುಣಿದವೇಣೆ ಹೆಂ ಬಯಕು ತಿಬೇನಕಮಕಂಗಳನ್ನು ಕಬೋದೆನಕರ මෙහෙම මෙදෙන්නේවි රාජ්‍යයක මියති තිය බේෆළු අලං උෆෙද්දෙවි ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක වාති අදි එය ගෙන්ඩෙන්ජෙහි බදල්තවස් එම්මෙ රංගලන් එගොඩන්නවානි හම තිය බේෆළු නකම වාති සරකාර මියති තිය බේෆළුගේ අඩුහම් මිසිනාතුගේ කුරියරුම කුරා මසක්කතුගා තිය බේෆළුගේ බෑවරිගේ ගොතුගා සරකාර අබදු සොන්නා අල්ගොන් මෙ කුරිය දානි තිය බේෆළුගේ ලෆයා මෂවරා ගඩෝ හැග දිවෙහි රාජ්‍යයක ෆතුරෙරිකන් තරගී කුරෙවුම මේ ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රීගේ බේෆළුම් වෙදෙවි යහීතිරිකම අල්ගොන් වරන් ඉඛලාස්තිරිකම අද සෙෆාර ශුක්‍ර දන්නවා අදි මේ ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රීගේ තාරිඛුගා වර මුහිම ඛිදමතක කුරවෑගෙන් මේ හෆ්ලාගා එවෝඩ් හාසිල් කරවා පුරිහා බේෆුල්නා වර ખાસ ශුක්‍ර වෙස්තන්නවා හම ඉෆදෙයි දිහ රාජ්‍යගා ෆතුරිකම් ෆෙට්ටුම්ගේ ගොතුම් ಕುರಿಗೆ ರೈಸ್ ನಿಶಾನ್ ಖಾಜಿಗೆ ಇಜ್ಜತಿರ್ ವೆರಿಯಾ ಅಲ್ ಮರ್ಹೂಮ್ ಇಬ್ರಾಹಿಂ ನಾಸಿರ್ ಕುರವಿ ಮಸಕ್ಕೆ ಪುಳಟ ಮಿಸನಾತ್ಗೆ ತರಗಿಯಟ್ಟಕ ಕುರಿಗೆ ರೈಸ್ ಅಲ್ ಉಸ್ತಾಜ್ ಮೌಮುನ್ ಅಬ್ಗಯೂಮ್ ಕುರವಿ ಮಸಕ್ಕೆ ಪುಳತ ಮಿಯದ್ ಫಾಹ ಕುರೆಗೆ ದಾಕಮಿ ಅರುಣ್ ಉಫಾ ಕುರಾಕಮ ಅದಿಯ ದೆ ಬೇಫುರ್ನ ವರ ಇಖ್ಲಾಸ್ ತಿರ್ಕಮಾಯಕು ಅರುಣ್ ಶುಕ್ರ್ ದನ್ನೋ ಹಗೀಗತುಗ ಆಳ್ಗೊಂಡ್ ಮೆ ಮಿಯದು मी फाह कुरमुन दणी हम एकनी फतुरिकम फंसा सहर फुरुमगे मुनासबतेनु एवरे मा बडु मुनासबते अलगुन में मी फाह कुरनी राज्य मुड़ी तारी होगा राज्य एम्मे बदल कोल्ली फंसा सहर मी फाह कुरवेनी ದಿವೆಹಿಂಗೆ ದಿರುಳುಮಗೆ ವಟ್ಟಫಾಳಿಯ ಇಂಗಿಲಾಬಿ ಬದಲ್ತಕ್ಕೆ ಗೆನ ಪಂಸಾಸಹ ತರಗಿಯ ಮೇದು ವಿಷ್ಣು ವೆಸ್ ಬದಲ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲಿ ಪಂಸಾಸಹ ಫತುರ್ವೆರಿಕನ್ ರಾಜ್ಯ ತಾರಫ್ ಇರುವಿರಸ್ ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ಇಕ್ಸೋದಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಹರ್ಕಾಯ್ತಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಂಗ ಮುಂದಿಯ ಅದಿ ಫತುರ್ವೆರಿಕಂ ಫುಳಾವ ಮುಂದಿಯ ವರಕ ದಂಡುವೆರಿಕಮ್ಮ ಮಸ್ಸಿರಿಕಂಗೆ ಉಫೆದ್ದುಂತವ್ಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಫುಳಾವ ಮುಂದಿಯ ಇಮಾರಕ್ಕುಮ್ಗೆ ದಾಯರ ಫುಳಾಕ್ರಂಜ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗಂಡು ಎಸ್ ಸಿನಾತುಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತುಗ ಇಮಾರಕ್ಕುಮ್ಗೆ ದಾಯರ ದೆಮಿ ಮಿ ಒಣ್ಣನಿ ಫತುರಿರಕಂ ಫುಳಾವಾತಿ ಕಮ ಬೆಸ್ ದನ್ನೊಂಜೆ මිදෙන්නේවි එක්සෝදී හරකායත කුරිස්සුරේ හිඟමුන් දිය නමවස් රාජ්‍ය එක්සෝද කුල්ලි ඉංග්ලාබී හලුයිකම ගෙනස්තිනි ෆතුරෙරික ෆතුරෙරිකම් ෆෙෂුමායක රාජ්‍යග කුරින්නෙන් එත දායරාතක්කු වසීෆාත උෆෙදිගෙන් දිය ආකිටෙක්ටු ඉන්ටීරියර් ඩිසයිනරෝ ආටිස්ටු टूर गाइड फद एतम मगाम तक उफेदी आमदनी की फुर्सत देही न फही वेगेंदी हम एआई को नवास्ते एक अड्डिहया नवास्ते एक नुआ दिहया गहर तहुगा राज्य के फतुरकम के दायरा अलग गुलिवडा नवी व्यापार के सबबु मी इंडस्ट्री वर बड़ती बदल तक ए बदलतों के सबब मालदीव्स मिनमकी दुनिया के फतुरकम बाजारुगा ब्रांड नमक वेगेंदी दुनिया का नंगिंगा एम्मे बड़े होटा तक रिजोर्ट तर राज्य का मिहारे बहुर राज्य का फतुरकम फेट्टे बेफुंगे फियवल मतिंग मिसिनात इतर कुरियरुआ हरगी करे बेफोन वेस मिहफ्लागा बतिड्डे अगोन देखे गोतुगा ए हुरिया बेफोन नकीवेस राज्य मियद मिदेके कुरियरुमा हरगी के वर मुहिम बैवरेंतके फतुरकम के रन यूबिल फाह कुर्मा कितम एवोडका कितम मेडयस्तेदा तारीफ के कितम में बस्तके वेस तकरार करेदा नम वेस मी मुहिम सिनात राज्य का फट्टवा तरगी कुरेवमंग एबेफुलुं कुरेव्वी बुरा मसक्कतुगे हगीगी अगु आर्गुमेंट वजने नुकुरवे मुली गौमुवनी एबेफुलुंगे ए खिदमत दरनवेरियफ मी फस्गंडुगा दिवेहिं उळेमुन दाहा हिदम एबे फुलुंगे अगो वसन कुरान एंगोडायनवान देहास विहिवन अहर फेशिगिंग आई दुनिया मिहातन कुर्मेतलान जहुनु एम्मे बोडो आदमी बदिमट कमाय कोविड नवार वेगेंदियई मिहातन एम्मे हदुई कमाय मुड़ी दुनिया फेतुरिगेंदिया वबाय कोरोना वायरस मुड़ी दुनिया हुट्टुमकगेना गौमतोगे बॉर्डर त बंद करें जो राज्य फद फतुरुवेरिकम भरोसा भा गौमक मिकम वी वरदति उंदगुकमक दुनिया गौमतोगा कोविड नवार फेतुरे कमगे खबर लिबुमायको एम्मे फुरता मालगों बद्दल कुरी बेफुलुंगे तेरेगा मठीगे बेफुलुंग हिमने देहास विहिवनहरुगे फेब्रुवरी महुगे मेदुतेरेगा बेवी ए बद्दल मगा कुरवुनु मशवरा तकफ़ राज्य फतुरेरी मुफला बाय फ्लाइट था कैंसल कर जाऊं अदी 27 मार्च देहास विहिगा राज्य के बॉर्डर त मुलिम बंद कर सरकार निम्मन जाऊं ए वरदति उंदगु निम्मुमे ए निम्मुं अलगोनु निम्मी बाय बेफुलुंगे विष्णुमा देखोड़ा रिसोर्ट त मुलिम बंद कोफा बेवुमकी हीनुक्रा वर्गे बड़ू गेल्लु में रिसोर्ट हिंगा फराय तक वाहन कम मेदो आलमेंडंग एयरवेज एहसास करे एहं कम राज्य फुरबंद कोफा ओय दुवसर सरकार के फरातु कोद्दे उंगई कुरिहा कमे आलमें आई फोर कोद्देम तिम्मस दहफो जुलाई फनरा देहास विहिगा राज्य के बॉर्डर तंग अलुं हुलवाली हम बाय बेफुलुंगे विश्रमाय इदु कोड़ा එහෙනම් වෙස් ඒ දඬුවලුගා රාජ්‍යයේ බෝඩර් තන් අලුන් හුළුවාදුම නිම්මි නිමුමකි හම හගීගත් ගාස් රංගලු නිමුම මිය දල්ගුණ මිතිබ හිසාබන් ආදේෆා මිතිබි ඒ නිමුමගේ සබ්බ මිය දුවස් දුනියේගේ එක්සෝත් ඔති හම මා ෆහි දුවයි ගේනෝ यूरोप के इरुमती बितुगा एकोरा वर्गद हंगुराम मुड़ी दुनिया नुरक्का को एक सौ तंग हीनर को दतुर फतुरा ब्रू अरवा खाबोत के तीगर कातिर कवा में सवाल उफेदन फशा मिफदा खसास दंडवलेगा कोम्मे गाव मकबस अमान कम गया सेरिया देवेनी सरकार राज्यतुन गोलिगिन कुरा मसकतो फतुवेरिकन सिंदफात को कुरेरु मटका सरकार अबदुस मिगंदनी मसके करो एगोतुन गानुन तक गेन्नंजे बदलतवेस अरुमेंगे बगेन्ना स्ट्राटा उसूलुम विला अनुवत कोटरी कुय्य दिनुमा इंटीग्रेटेड टूरिस्ट रिसोर्ट अदि प्राइवेट आइलैंड के फतुवेरिक मिहार वाणी गानु उनिगन के तेरेगा हिमनाफ मी फतुरिन दिगमुदत राज्यगा तिबम खास कोफावा प्रोडक्ट तक मी गेतुरुम वेस मी इंडस्ट्री के कंकम फसे को दिन मटका सरकार फरातुम कोदे हुरी हुरी हाकम और में कोदे ने कम गे यगिन का मिदस्ति बेफुरना अरवा फतुरुकम के सिनाए तरगी वमंदा हलुई दुवैजा अला बदाय मिहारोइंग एम में बड़ो एक गुंजमकी वेदाना इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट के कैपेसिटी इतरको अलगुन में वेरकमा हवालुइरो टर्मिनल के मसक के हुरी एक ही हिसाब तक का मर्जीफ एक सब तक है एकं कंग हल्लु कुरुम फहो मिहारो अलोंग मसक के फशाएं कुरिया एबदे मिहार हदमुंदा टर्मिनल ये खिदमत देम फेशमो आहारको 7.2 मिलियन पैसेंजरोना एयरपोर्टो खिदमत देवेन एक इतरु अतोल्तहुगा तरगी कुरा इतरु एयरपोर्ट तहुगे सबबुम बेस फतुरेर कमंग इतरा फुलावेगेंदान एंगोडा अंडवान दुनिया के फतुरेर कमंग व्यापारीगा मिहारोती वर बादे माहौल राज्य के फतुरवेरिकं नमूना का बदागे फतुरवेरिकं तरगली कुरा कितने मंजिल मिहार एबहुरे मी वादवेरिकं के तेरेगा दिव्य राज्य के नंद मेहटेनी अलगुन में बरबरा मसके तके को गया एगे तेरेम बेस एम में मुहिम कमकी दिव्य फतुरवेरिकं के खास सिफतंग एगोतुगा देमेहटो फतुरेंगे मकबूल मंजिल का राज्य वेगन दिए मी वेशीगे सुलहवेर कमा अमान कमा दिवेंगे हिंगे कमा फुरियम मेहमानदारी हम या को राज्य के कुदरती रीति का खंडफलोगे रीति कमा रत्त होगे हिफ्फसे है एकंकन दमेहटो मटका राज्य के तिमावश रक्कातिर कुर्मा मियद सळुन में खास समसकेत के को एकम समालकं एबदेंजे हम या को मिराज्य के जजीरावंत सिफत नुगेल्लेने फद गोतक फतरुकम के सिनात सिंदफात कुरुमकी वेस मि सिनात के नफा इतुर कुरुमटका कोम्हे कोरंजे का फतुरुकम के सिनात कुरिमतिवा गुंजहंत नत्तालुमकी वेस अरुण में विश्रुमगा बाटन जेनकम अरुण वाहकोल निम्मालुम वेस दिए फतुरुकम के सिनात के हुरिया फंतिएगा मसक्के कुरवा बेफुलना वर खास गोतेगा शुक्र अदा करा Rajya Faturaring Ufulade airline taka. Two operator unnaves. Shukurdanna. Tourism industry ge emha mozifunasha. Faturerikan istihar kurma. Kurva MMPRC ya ves wana khasa. Shukuren aldanna. Tourism ministry ge puriha mozifun ega algun samil karo. Algun dua hai ki dihe faturerikan taragi ko kurieruma. Misinaatu ge hissadarun kurva bura masakatga. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala कामयाब मिंबर करो दिह राज्य की मी कौम ज़ियारत करा कौम में मेहमान का फुरी हम आमान कमा हम जोहन दिब्बादे सुलहवेरी मुत्तो में कमगा दवा फागत कमा तनुवस कम मी राज्य मिंबर करो बार आमीन अस्सलाम वालेकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next set of awards are awarded in recognition of individuals and organizations who have played a pivotal role in bringing the tourism industry to its current standing. May I please invite on stage Vice Chairman of MATI, Mr. Salah Shihab, and Secretary General of MATI, Mr. Ahmad Nazir, to hand out the awards to the winners. Mr. Ahmad Adam. Mr. Umar Ahmad Misbah, grandson of Mr. Ahmad Adam, will receive the award on his behalf. Mr. Ahmad Adam was one of the directors of Crescent Tourist Agency, created on 12 April 1972 to set up tourist resorts. He is also the first manager of the second tourist resort open in Maldives, Bandus Island Resort, in addition to being the Maldives' first certified engineer. Mr. Ahmad Adam is also considered as the pioneer of locally built safari boats. He has also contributed in developing electricity services, television broadcasting services, boat building, and promoting technical training through the establishment of the Vocational Training Center. Air India. Mr. Vinod Kumar, Airport Manager of Air India, will receive the award. Air India has been a key contributor to the development of the aviation and tourism sector of Maldives. Air India, then known as Indian Airlines, was one of the first carriers to fly to Maldives and is the oldest airline having operations in Maldives for more than 46 years of continued operations. Air India operated its first flight from India, Trivandrum to Male on 21st February 1976. Remarkably, even during the COVID-19 pandemic, the airline continued operations under the air bubble arrangements between India and Maldives. Alpitua SPA. Mr. Alessandro Biasi, Marketing Manager, Mainstream and Seamless Division of Alpitua SPA, will receive the award. Alpitua World is the Italian leader in the tourism sector, synonymous with professionalism, innovation, and discovery. It has entered the collective imagination as the group that has been making Italians travel for 75 years. The collaboration between the Alpitua Group and the Maldives is historical and consolidated. Bank of Maldives. Ms. Aishat Zamra Zahir, Director of Marketing of BML, will receive the award. Bank of Maldives is the largest bank and leading financial institution in the country, inaugurated on 11 November 1982. Throughout the years, BML has supported the startup of numerous resorts and has been a substantial financier for the tourism industry. At the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, BML supported the tourism industry and local businesses facing unprecedented challenges. Club Vacancy. Unfortunately, they are unable to attend. Club Vacancy sent their first group of tourists to Maldives in the mid-1970s. In the 1980s, Club Vacancy rented the island of Gangehi, where they built, for the first time in the Maldives, 4 overwater bungalows. Condor Airline. Ms. Heidi Nina Wilhelm, Senior Director, Senior Duty Manager, and OTP Coordinator, Station Frankfurt of Condor Airline, will receive the award. Condor Airlines started its operation to the Maldives way back on 31st October 1981 and continues to play a pivotal role towards the tourism industry in Maldives. Condor is the most popular leisure airline in Germany with a fleet of more than 50 aircrafts. Every year, around 10 million passengers fly with Condor from the 9 largest airports in Germany. Crown Company Private Limited. Mr. Ahmad Salim, Director of Crown Company Private Limited, will receive the award. Crown Company was founded in May 1983 by 4 enterprising individuals, Mr. Abdul Ghani, Mr. Ahmad Nazir, Mr. Ahmad Salim, and Mr. Hussein Afif. In 1984, with several innovative concepts, Crown Company developed their first resort, Veligondo Island Resort. The rebranding in 2005 as Conrad Maldives Rangali introduced one of the world's first undersea resorts, Ithal. Mr. Mohammad Wahid Din. Mr. Arsul Nouri, Deputy General Manager of Bandos Maldives, will receive the award on his behalf. Mr. Mohammad Wahid Din is a decorated tourism industry veteran that has invested in multiple properties, most notably Bandos Island Resort and Malahini Kuda Bandos, which he continues to operate. He is also recipient of the National Award in recognition of his service to the tourism industry in 1993, and also received an honorary award in 2006 from the Government of Maldives in recognition of the distinguished service rendered towards sustainable development of tourism in Maldives for 25 years. Der Touristic Group. Mr. Zoran Hartmann, Chief Executive Officer of Der Touristic Group, will receive the award. Der Touristic Group is Ravi Group's travel and tourism division. As one of Europe's leading travel groups, Der Touristic Group encompasses more than 130 companies and employs 9,400 people in 16 European countries. Notable brands under Der include Corny, founded in the UK more than 50 years ago, Travel Lab SAS, better known as Corny France, and Manta Risen, specializing in diving holidays around the globe. Divehiraja Gagulum Public Limited, Dirag. Mr. Ismail Rashid, CEO and MD of Dirag, will receive the award. Dirag was established in 1988 as a joint venture between the Cable and Wireless of UK and the Government of Maldives. Dirag has been a key pillar responsible for the growth of the tourism industry of Maldives via the broad array of telecommunication services and infrastructure provided, as well as their innovative business practices. Mr. Mahir Didi. Mr. Ahmad Mahir Didi is one of the directors of Universal Enterprises and pioneered the marketing and promotion of the Maldives. He was one of the first people who attended ITB Berlin and many other overseas travel and trade fairs to promote Maldives. He was instrumental in encouraging many airlines to consider flying to the destination, as well as forging relationships with key tour operators across the globe. Emirates. Mr. Chandana De Silva, Country Manager of Emirates, will receive the award. Emirates has played an integral part in the socio-economic life of the Maldives for 35 years. The award-winning international airline commenced services to Male on 27 May 1987 with 2 flights a week. Over the past 35 years, Emirates has operated more than 28,000 round-trip flights to the Maldives, logging approximately 134 million kilometers on the route and carrying 8.4 million passengers to and from the destination. Mr. Ahmad Hafiz. Mr. Ahmad Hafiz is an experienced Maldivian hotelier with more than 43 years' experience in the industry. He joined the tourism industry in 1976 while pursuing a secondary education at Majidia School. He began his own business venture along with his other partners to develop a resort named Lily Beach Resort and Spa in the year 1994, later acquiring another 5-star resort named Hideaway Beach Resort and Spa in 2005, the first resort to open with a marina. Mr. Ismail Hilmi. Unfortunately, he is unable to attend. Mr. Ismail Hilmi is a local entrepreneur who is the chairman of Atmosphere Hotels and Resorts and the chairman and MD of Best Buy Maldives, as well as the founder of Hotelier Maldives magazine and the GM Forum. Hilton International Asia Pacific. Mr. Jamie Mead, Senior Director of Operations, Southeast Asia of Hilton International Asia Pacific, will receive the award. Hilton is a leading global hospitality company with a portfolio of 18 world-class brands comprising nearly 6,900 properties and nearly 1.1 million rooms in 122 countries and territories. Hilton is also one of the first international hotel chains that entered the Maldives, opening Conrad Rangali in November 1997. Hotel Plan. Unfortunately, they are unable to attend. Hotel Plan was established in 1935 by Migros founder Gottlieb Duttweiler to enable families from simpler backgrounds to take vacations in Switzerland. Mr. Qasim Ibrahim. Mr. Ibrahim Siad Qasim, CEO and MD of Villa Shipping and Trading Company, will receive the award on his behalf. Unfortunately, they are unable to attend. Mr. Qasim Ibrahim, more commonly referred to as Burma Qasim, embodies the spirit of the self-made man, becoming one of the country's leading entrepreneurs. Impact Japan. Mr. Jitesh Fujita Bal, Director of Impact Japan, will receive the award. Impact Japan was formed in 1973 by its president, Mr. K. L. Bal, in Japan. They first started promoting Maldives as one of their most important resort market destinations in 1978, which quickly became one of their best-selling destinations. They're recognized as being one of the largest tour operators to the Maldives from Japan, and even have their own registered office in Maldives under the name of Impact Japan. Intour Maldives Private Limited. Mr. Ali Firag, MD of Intour Maldives Private Limited, will receive the award. The story of Intour Maldives begins with the company's founder and managing director, Ali Firag. In 1993, Firag began working as an interpreter for a Russian tour operator in the Maldives. Through this work, he formed an interest in the hospitality sector. Since its official launch in 1996, the company has been actively in service for upwards of 26 consecutive years in the Maldivian tourism industry. The late Mr. Saul Kerzner. Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed Didi, chairman of Simdi Group and close family friend and colleague, will receive the award. The late Mr. Saul Kerzner was one of the world's most innovative hoteliers and the founder, chairman, and CEO of Kerzner International. He developed and opened one and only Rithira in 2005, an all-villa resort set on one of the largest private islands in North Mala Atoll. One and only Rithira introduced a new level of luxury to the Maldives tourism industry. Kurumba Maldives. Ms. Fatmat Mohammed Manik, Executive Director of Universal Enterprises, will receive the award. Kurumba Maldives, initially Kurumba Village, was the very first Maldivian resort to open its doors in 1972. The inception of Kurumba Village came about when Mr. Muhammad Umar Manik and Mr. Hussein Afif linked up with the leaseholder of Bihamana Fushi, then an uninhabited island coconut plantation. Kurumba is now a well-established, internationally recognized resort looking after generations of guests from across the world. Maldives Airports Company Limited. Mr. Mahjoub Shujao, Managing Director of MACL, will receive the award. Hulula Airport was opened on 12 April 1966, and the government created the airport office to manage Hulula Airport. Since then, Hulula Airport has undergone various development phases, and Mala International Airport was opened as the first international airport on 11 November 1981. On 1 January 1994, the government detached MAA establishment as a separate commercial entity and was incorporated into MACL. Maldiviana. Mr. Ibrahim Nasheed, Managing Director of Maldiviana Private Limited, will receive the award. Maldiviana was established in 1994, and they have been servicing Maldives for the past 25 years. They have a service office in Male and provide a full range of destination management services. They are the official representative of Aeroflot in Male and Colombo. They are a top long-time producer for the Russian market, and over the past 2 years during the pandemic, they have sent twice as many tourists, approximately 15,000 tourists per year. The late Dr. Ibrahim Manik. Mr. Sanjay Manik, Chief Operating Officer of Universal Enterprises, will receive the award. The late Dr. Ibrahim Manik set up his first resort, Palm Tree Resort, in South Mala Atoll in 1987. This island would eventually become the home of Naladu, and the neighboring islands became Anantara, Digu, and Beli. Outside the hospitality sector, he introduced Coca-Cola to the Maldives and helped launch Manta Air, a game-changing domestic airline. The late Mr. Ali Umar Manik. Mr. Ahmad Mahir Didi, Director of Universal Enterprises, will receive the award. The late Mr. Ali Umar Manik served as Vice President and as a presidential advisor under two presidents. Ibrahim Nasir, and Mamun Abdul Gayoom, and greatly contributed to the development and modernization of the country. His contribution to the tourism industry was also wide-ranging. He was involved in the development of Male International Airport, the construction of resorts, and the development of the infrastructure to support the industry. The late Mr. Ahmad Ismail Manik, Ms. Aishat Nina Ahmad, Director of Kaimo Travels and Hotel Services, will receive the award. The late Mr. Kandi Ahmad Ismail had diligently served the Maldives tourism industry since its introduction in 1972, first with his contribution towards developing and operating Bandos, which was the second tourist resort to be opened in the Maldives. He is one of the founders of Kaimu Travel and Hotel Services Private Limited. Mr. Ismail's lasting contribution to the development of Maldivian tourism from its inception has also earned him two prestigious national awards. Mr. Ahmad Umar Manik. Unfortunately, he is unable to attend. Mr. Ahmad Umar Manik is one of the founders and managing directors of Universal Enterprises and has contributed considerably to the development of tourism in the Maldives. Mr. Ahmad Siam Mohammed. Mr. Ahmad Siam Mohammed is the chairman and managing director of a group of companies collectively known as Sun Siam Group, which owns and operates 5 resorts in the Maldives and several other subsidiary companies, mainly in the hospitality industry. Renowned for being one of the most energetic and visionary businessmen in the country, he is also one of the youngest resort developers in the industry. Mr. Ahmad Siam Mohammed has continued to serve as an executive board member of MATI since 2004. Ms. Salima Mohammed. Unfortunately, she is unable to attend. Ms. Salima Mohammed is considered as one of the first female pioneers of the tourism industry of Maldives. She was the first woman to run a resort and one of the first people to build and run a liveaboard safari and manage the first tourists in Maldives. Thank you, Mr. Salah Shihab and Mr. Ahmed Nazir. May I please invite on stage the chairman of MATI, Mr. Mohammad Umar Manik, and the vice chairman of MATI, Mr. Hussein Afif, to hand out the awards for the rest of the winners. Mr. Mohammed Musa. Unfortunately, he is unable to attend today. Mr. Champa Mohammed Musa, who is more popularly known as Uchu, is recognized for being one of the Maldives' leading innovators. One of his biggest career milestones was the development of the world's largest glass undersea restaurant in Hurawali. Mr. Ahmad Nazir. Mr. Ahmad Nazir is a prominent businessman and a philanthropist who has served both the government and the private sector. In 1983, he joined the private sector by forming Crown Company Private Limited along with 3 other prominent businessmen. Mr. Nazir is currently serving as the Secretary General of MATI, a role which he has filled for the past decade. Prior to that, he has served as the Financial Controller of MATI for numerous years as well. Mr. Nazir also served on the board of Maldives Monetary Authority, Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation, and Maldives Airports Company Limited. Mr. Lars Erik Nielsen. Mr. Ahmed Usama Mohammed Fauzi, Chief Executive Officer of Trans-Maldivian Airways, will receive the award on his behalf. Mr. Lars Erik Nielsen is the founder of Maldivian Air Taxi, the man who introduced seaplanes to Maldives, essentially revolutionizing and greatly enhancing connectivity of remote areas of Maldives to tourists. Today, Mr. Lars Erik Nielsen continues to be the managing director of TMA. Ibrahim Nuruddin. Unfortunately, he is unable to attend. Mr. Ibrahim Nuruddin is a prolific figure of the tourism industry as well as aviation sector of Maldives. He is an executive board member of Crown and Champa Resorts and has been instrumental in the development of the tourism industry. The late Miss Linda Pedler. Mr. Curtis Pedler, son of late Miss Pedler, will receive the award. The Maldives captured the heart of Linda Pedler, purchasing manager at Kony, early in her career, and she is remembered fondly by all who knew her for her significant contribution to the tourism industry. Linda built her career with Kony, joining 30 years ago as a graduate trainee. Linda touched the lives of many people in the UK and overseas, and she had a particular love for the Maldives. Mr. Lars Peter, unfortunately, he is unable to attend. Mr. Lars Peter was a product manager for Star Tour, a major tour operator in Scandinavia for Maldives and Sri Lanka. He was instrumental in starting operations by regular airlines and expanded into bringing the first charter flights from Scandinavia to Maldives. Qatar Airways. Mr. Dunstan Withana Arachi, General Manager of Cypria Air and Holidays, will receive this award. Qatar Airways has always been flying to Maldives for 20 years. It is the first airline ever to fly the state-of-the-art Airbus A350 to the Maldives. In 2017, Qatar Airways continued flights to the Maldives despite the harsh COVID-19 conditions. Qatar is one of the first airlines to resume scheduled flights to the Maldives once the border reopened in July 2020. Mr. Ahmad Salim. Mr. Ahmad Salim is recognized for being the very first architect in the Maldives and played a pivotal role in creating the concept of Maldivian architecture. He was responsible for the designing and building of the first water villas in the Maldives in Gangehi in 1987. He also introduced to Maldives buildings for water villas sourced from sustainable and renewable forests. Salim has extensive experience in the development and design of resorts and transcended the boundaries of architecture through the development of the world's first underwater restaurant, Ita, and first underwater residence, Muraka, which were both established in Conrad, Maldives, Rangali Island. Ms. Anna Schwabach, unfortunately, she is unable to attend. Under her leadership, Hotel Plan Italy developed an important Maldives program, becoming a leader of the destination. Direct charter flights from Milan were introduced and special efforts were made to push the low seasons. Mr. Ong Bang Seng, unfortunately, he is unable to attend. Mr. Ong, together with his wife, Mrs. Christina Ong, found the Singapore-based Como Hotels and Resorts and are one of the earliest foreign investors in Maldives. They are credited with the introduction of luxury hotel brands to the Maldives, enhancing the destination and brand image of the Maldives. Mr. Mohammed Shafiq, unfortunately, he is unable to attend. Mohammed Shafiq, known as Sappe, is the managing partner and one of the architects of GX Associates, the leading architectural design firm in the Maldives. During his past 30 years, Mohammed Shafiq has designed more than 50 resorts in the Maldives. Mr. Salah Shihab. Mr. Salah Shihab is the founding shareholder and managing director of one of the oldest and most prominent travel agencies in Maldives, Voyages Maldives, starting off 42 years ago with a wish to introduce a guest simple way to explore the Maldives, sailing the seas by mechanized traditional dhoni. Under the leadership of Mr. Shihab, Voyages Maldives has over the years operated 12 safari boats, of which 7 are currently in operation. Mr. Sonu Shivdasani. Unfortunately, he is unable to attend. Sonu Shivdasani is an inspiring business leader, considered a pioneer of sustainable luxury tourism, with Soneva Fushit redefining tourism in the Maldives, becoming a blueprint for environmentally conscious luxury travel. Singapore Airlines. Mr. David Lau, Regional Vice President, West Asia and Africa for Singapore Airlines, will receive the award. Singapore Airlines first flew to the Maldives in March 1984 with weekly services between Singapore and Male, while its regional subsidiary Silk Air launched 4 times weekly services in October 2015. Singapore Airlines plays an important role in bringing tourists from Australia, China, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, and the United States of America to the Maldives. Sri Lankan Airlines. Mr. Fauzan Farid, Country Manager of Sri Lankan Airlines, will receive the award. Sri Lankan Airlines, previously Air Lanka, is the first commercial airline to operate to Male International Airport after it opened in 1960. Over the last 5.5 decades, Sri Lankan Airlines has silently contributed to the development and eventual boom of the tourism industry in the Maldives, and is currently one of the largest carriers of inbound tourist traffic into the country. State Bank of India, SBI. Mr. Veeragavan Srinivasan, Regional Head, Middle East, West, and North Africa of State Bank of India, will be receiving the award. SBI established a branch in Maldives in 1974 and is the first bank to be operated out of the country. in the country. SBI Maldives has had a long symbiotic relationship with the tourism industry of the country and has been a key partner in supporting hospitality startups. Amy Steerley. Unfortunately, she is unable to attend. Amy Steerley was a former managing director of Manta Horizon. She helped position the company as a leading dive specialist company and contributed to bring in thousands of tourists from Switzerland to Maldives through Manta Horizon. Sun Siam Group. Mr. Ahmad Siam Mohammed, Chairman and Managing Director of the Sun Siam Group, will receive this award. Sun Siam is a visionary creation of Mr. Ahmad Siam Mohammed and is one of the most forward-thinking and dynamic companies in the Maldives. Over the years, the company has grown from a relatively small travel business to one of the top-ranked tourism companies in the Maldives, with over 3,500 employees under its able guidance and strong ties established with tourism partners worldwide. Sun Siam is amongst the most successful homegrown hospitality brands that is 100% Maldivian-owned. Trans-Maldivian Airways. Mr. Ahmad Usama Mohammed Fauzi, Chief Executive Officer of Trans-Maldivian Airways, will receive this award. The beginnings of commercial aviation in the Maldives are to be undoubtedly attributed to Trans-Maldivian Airways. TMA started in 1989 as a company operating a helicopter fleet under the name Hummingbird Island Helicopters, later changing the name to Hummingbird Island Airways when the first seaplane was added to the fleet in 1997. It is the oldest air service operator in the Maldives and has grown to become the largest seaplane operator in the world. TUI Group. Ms. Odette Marcato, Service Delivery Team Manager, Maldives of TUI Group, will receive the award. TUI is one of the world's leading tourism groups. The broad portfolio gathered under the group umbrella consists of strong tour operators, 1,600 travel agencies, and leading online portals, 5 airlines with around 150 aircraft. TUI Deutschland has been a top producer for Maldives in the German market over the past few decades. Their work is attributed to the fact that Germany has been one of the top traditional markets for Maldives since the inception of its tourism. Universal Enterprises Private Limited. Mr. Mohammed Umar Manik, Chairman of Universal Enterprises Private Limited, will receive the award. Universal Enterprises is a pioneering organization that transformed the Maldives from obscurity into one of the world's most sought-after travel destinations, while actively diversifying across industries and service sectors. They are now a diversified conglomerate with numerous businesses encompassing several industries from travel services to trading, manufacturing, and real estate, employing close to 4,000 individuals. Voyages Maldives Private Limited. Mr. Mohammed Shafiq, co-founder of Voyages Maldives Private Limited, will receive the award. Voyages Maldives, established in the early 1980s, introduced tourists to the Maldives, a simple way to explore the islands in a mechanized traditional dhoni built by local carpenters. As a pioneer, being one of the first travel and tour companies to operate safari operations in Maldives, Voyages is recognized as one of the most trusted and experienced in this field, currently with 7 safaris sailing under their flag. Thank you. Now I would like to invite on stage the Vice Chairman of MATI, Mr. Hussein Afif, for his closing remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Your Excellency, President Ibrahim Mohammed Solih, First Lady Fazna Ahmad, Honorable Ministers, respected dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. 50 years ago, I was traveling in a boat to Kurumba with a group of workers. We were carrying tools and material to clear the site to build the first ever tourist room in the Maldives. Today, after 50 years, I stand here again in Kurumba to celebrate 50 years of tourism. This fills me with many emotions. I have been privileged to be a part of this exciting journey. Since that day, it is a journey which has brought so much growth and prosperity to our country and our people. Firstly, I want to acknowledge all those who have made this adventure possible, the many hundred unsung heroes of our industry. I'm talking about the airport staff, the boat crew who welcome guests at the airport. I'm talking about waiters, receptionists, room cleaners, and all those who ensure a pleasurable stay. I'm talking about the back office, kitchen staff, engineers, carpenters, and others who tirelessly work to ensure the smooth running of a resort. To all of you, I want to say the 50 years of success is your success as well. And our celebration today is dedicated to each and every one of you too. Thank you. It can be tempting to use this occasion to talk about experiences from the last 50 years and share some good stories from the past. Yet, today I would like to focus on the future and to address the new generation in the country. Tourism has always been dynamic and ever-changing sector, which requires us to look into the future in order to stay relevant. The challenges we have faced in the past 50 years of tourism in Maldives will of course be different from those that coming generations will face. We have crossed many paths and overcome many obstacles, and yet there are many new paths that must be walked and new challenges that must be overcome. And when I look to the future, I'm filled with lots of hope embodied in the entrepreneurship spirit of the younger generation. And to them, I would like to say the following. I'm humbled, impressed by your dedication, creativity, and the can-do attitude. There is no doubt that your level of knowledge and professional education surpasses that of many of us who came before you. At the same time, I would urge you to take pride, cultivate and preserve what I call our island mentality, an approach which is integral to life in the Maldives that has existed for centuries. It means to approach difficulties with common sense, with the resources that are available to you. With this attitude, our forefathers have survived for centuries, and it is also an attitude which brought us through the early days of tourism. And I believe this creativity is essential also for the future. It is in essence, tourism is about cooperation. The international partners have been central to our success, tour operators, travel agents, airlines, who have genuinely loved our country and supported us through good and bad times. It is fruitful and strong relationship continues. If this fruitful and strong relationship continues, also in our digital age, our future tourism of Maldives will be bright. The support from successive governments to the private sector throughout the years have been instrumental to the success of our industry. Together, we face increasingly complex challenges such as environment degradation of our climate change. These issues require us to collaborate even more intensely and closely than we have in the past. It also demands a high degree of professionalism and mutual understanding from all involved. I take this opportunity to thank His Excellency President Solih for all the guidance and wisdom given during the past difficult years of COVID. His leadership brought the whole country together to fight the crisis, to overcome the COVID. That was a true example of government and private sector partnership. As we face new challenges in the future, an industry-wide platform such as MATI continues to be highly relevant. Together we can fuel the prosperity of our country while also preserving our natural treasures, the very reason why tourists visit our beautiful island nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hussein Afif. Ladies and gentlemen, please note that there will be a networking event with light refreshments served at Tila Restaurant. Our ushers will guide you to the venue. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Adalman Demati Befna Hama Kurumba Maldives Wagutum make Anestini Rajega Faturika Mafansa Sahar Faha Kurmugoto Marting is Nagagan Kurek in the Ahasa Award and Magarasmiat, Mirasmiat Sharifukateva. Rajega Faturikam Gabaning Gotuga Faha Kurve Hatar Beflaka Resujum Huri Abraham Muhammad Solom Vani Khasa इनाम अरवाफ़ा आदि हम है फ़तुर कम के दायरा तरह की कुरमुगा राज्य के कुरी के दे रईस कम का अस्ताद मोहम्मद अब्दुल क़य्यूम आदि हम है इब्राहिम नासिर अदा कुरवे मुहिम मुदार फ़ाह कुरवा दे बेफुन वे साथ से अवार्ड में रस्मियात के तरह अरवाफ़ा वायरो फ़तुर कम के दायरा के एक ही कोई को तंग हितम कुरवा जुमला फंसास अफ़ारात का मी हफ़ला के तरह में बनी ख़ास अवार्ड मटे के फ़रातों अरवाफ़ा मी अवार्ड तो लिबनो एक के मी बेफुन हिमनोडा के नवा दायरा तक का बालाला राज्य का अगुरे रिजॉर्ट तंग ऑपरेट कुरा फ़रात का आदि हम है में फ़तुर कम के दायरा इन्वेस्ट कुरा बेफुन के इतरों एयरलाइन तक का फ़तुर कम के दायरा इश्तिहार को प्रमोट कुरमट का एक फंती मसैक कुरमुदा फ़रात मी के तरह बने मिरास में अच्छा रफ़्रुक़ वारे सुजम हुरिया इब्राहिम मोहम्मद सोलह देखे वाक़फ़ुगा मिफ़दा हफ़ला हास को राज्य के में फ़ुरतमा हुलवे के अंदिया रिसोर्ट का मुगा कुरुबा मालदीव्स का बेवी के अंदियों में कि मी हफ़ला इतना फ़ुरिम में के अंदिया कामे के कोतुका एमन फ़ंड मनी फ़ाहा का कुरबाफ़ आदि हमें मी सारुकार उन देमें उन्नाने राज्य के फ़तुरे का अंतरा की कुरुमा में कुरवे मसैक तुगा इंडस्ट्री के बेफलों के अडुहा इंडस्ट्री बेफलों में बेन वाकां कम फुरिया मुकुरमत तैयार कम अरेस जमहूरिया ने फ़ाह कुरबाफ़ मी गए तुरंत कोविड नवारे को राज्य के फ़तुर कम गए सीनात मिलबुनो हीनर कम फूबेत मट्टा का फ़तुर कम गए मुड़ी सीनाएंगे एक को गुड़ी के मिकुरी मसे के अरेस जमहूरिया ने वार बड़ा फ़ाह का कुरबाफ़ आदमी सीनाएंगे तुरा कुरियर मट्टा का सीनात को तेरे गेंडन से बदल तंगास को कानून गेंडन से बदल तका आदि हमें फ़तुर कम का प्रोडक्ट तर राज्य तारफ़ कुरमट्टा का वस हासा मसे के तक सरकार मुगंदवाका रेसु जमहूरिया वनी फ़ाह का कुरबाफ़ अमी हासा मलमति बेफना हम कुरुंबा मालदीव्स में केनस्तिंग हासा अवार्ड हफ़लानी माला फ़ालन वकीलाना हुरिया बेफना वरवस पाँच वर उफ़ार वक्त कोलकत मकीलां अस्सलाम वालेकुम
When the time comes, tell us about it.
Without you guys, without honorable chairman, without you guys, it is impossible to come onto that level to the industry.